I'm glad that Faran is here because I really do want to talk about the Twitter files. And Faran, I feel like you are fully up to date. Is it true that there is a drop like happening right now or just happened? Because I saw this tweet from Elon, which is crazy. He's responding to like 16 hours ago, he tweeted, "My pronouns are prosecute and Fauci." And then to which Scott Kelly, who is Scott Kelly? Oh, former NASA astronaut. Okay. Scott Kelly responds, Elon, please don't mock and promote hate towards already marginalized and at-risk violence members of the LGBTQ. First of all, is Fauci gay? Like, what?
That's what
why
I
is he
said.
mentioning
Okay, so Scott Kelly, his brother is Mark Kelly, who's a senator too.
Okay.
Who's married to Gabby Giffords. He just re-won his election. So it's interesting that he's like jumping in on this.
It's strange. They are real people with real feelings. It's like, what are you talking about? Furthermore, Dr. Fauci is a dedicated public servant whose sole motivation was saving lives, to which Elon responded, I strongly disagree. And this is based as fuck. Forcing your pronouns upon others when they didn't ask and implicitly ostracizing those who don't is neither good nor kind to anyone. As for Fauci, he lied to Congress and funded gain-of-function research that killed millions of people. Not awesome in my opinion.
And beagles and dogs.
Oh, the beagle thing. Disgusting.
Awful.
But yeah, they're saying that Fauci is gay. I agree.
But again, is this now the thing that happens when you come under fire for something? You come out gay? I mean, didn't Kevin Spacey do that?
I was just drunk and gay.
Yeah, it's your cop out.
He's so well connected that like he'll never, he'll never be held accountable for anything. Like he
can't be when the people who are speaking out against him mysteriously like die or something happens to them.
It's risky.
In 1985, Fauci married Christine Grady, a nurse and bioethicist with the NIH after they met while treating a patient. Grady is the chief of the Department of Bioethics at the NIH. Together, they have 3 adult daughters. But hey, people come out. I mean, in 85, a lot of gay guys were doing that, getting married and then having kids, and then,
Well, it wasn't okay to come.
Oh, I didn't mean literally. I meant like, wow, that's so gay.
That's what we say.
Well, in case there was a question, yeah.
Yeah, and isn't one of Fauci's daughters an employee at Twitter?
Yeah, she worked at Twitter.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I think she may have got fired in the great Twitter layoffs.
Was she part of the trust and safety team? Like with the Yole guy who's like making all these creepy tweets about children, who is like the head of that. And then his other coworkers too, they did a lot of creepy or like weird tweets. I was going through a lot of them yesterday for like hours, and other people found stuff too, just like stuff that's like, that's weird. And like a couple of them kept talking about porn. The Yole guy, he kept talking about being gay and kids, like a lot more than the average person. Just nonstop. Like there's like 20, maybe like 30 tweets about him being on Grindr. There was one about this guy who was the head of trust and safety from Twitter talking about kids should be on Grindr because they're on there already. Something along those lines. Elon had tweeted it out. It's a mess. Like we actually start digging through it. And now when I started doing that, I saw afterward when people started looking, because I was like, guys, you need to look through this before they go private and start deleting stuff. And so people did. And then they started privating their accounts. Like Nora was one of them. She privated her account today or yesterday after that.
Crazy.
So there have been 4 drops so far, right, Faran?
Yes, and they're talking about drop 5 is happening tomorrow on Barry Weiss's Twitter. But yeah, Elon has been that's the one thing that's funny is like after these drops happen, he starts like responding to people and he does not hold back. I'm trying to remember, there was one where I think it's on my Twitter too, where I said like when the CEO goes full savage mode.
I'm going to pull up Elon's feed here. It's pretty interesting. So this latest drop was about deplatforming the president, and I'm sure it all had to do with January 6th.
Yeah, and the one before that, they were talking about how the Twitter staff, including, I believe, the Yole guy, they had access to U.S. intelligence or former U.S. intelligence, which I believe was the Patrick guy who deleted his LinkedIn profile after he was called out on it on the Twitter files drop.
Yes, Patrick Conlon. Yeah, because it was him and Yoel Roth, and you saw because it was like drop 1 was about the Hunter Biden story, drop 2 was about the shadow banning, Drop 3 was about the events like leading up to January 6th and on January 6th, and how they actually like were trying to actually get Trump banned prior to January 6th. And then Michael Schellenberger here does all of what happened January 7th, where they basically, so like in a nutshell, the TLDR is that they had, first said that they never judged anybody's intent on what they're saying. They just would judge the words. They never would judge intent. After January 6th, they started judging Trump's intents on his words and calling them, for civil integrity. Is like they take words, for example, like shadow banning and call it visibility filtering. Civic integrity is banning people.
Yeah.
And then the second thing
is putting somebody in a suspension or like silencing them for 12 hours. So
right,
a lot of
exactly.
this is learning their slaying.
Right. And so then the second thing that they redid, besides the not looking at anybody's intent of something, the second thing they did is before they had a policy where it was government officials and government government entities. They would not ban them out of like public knowledge. They're in the public sphere. They should, even if they're saying crappy stuff, like it's the public knowledge for them to know. They immediately removed that with Trump, and which as I'm going through it on Twitter, or as I'm going through the tweets, I scroll up and because I was like, this sounds like they're paving the way for Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Sure as shit, I scroll up and it's all about how they were trying to ban Matt Gaetz.
Wow.